What is the correct way to use EM-1? One of our VIP members asked me this great question, so in this video we are going to get into it. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We got our $2.99 membership, and we have a VIP if you need a little more one-on-one. Link down in the description.
I was going to ask you what the correct way to actually water EM-1 is. At the current moment, using 7 milliliters of Oregon Shield. I want to say I'm using 7 milliliters of fermented EM-1, and I'm mixing that with DOB, and I'm just going right into my medium as far as that's concerned. When I started doing it a few times, it looked like it was almost like kind of like bubbly and sudsy, which kind of gave me a little bit of concern, but I didn't see the plants like react to it in a bad way at all. But it's definitely something that I wanted to touch bases with you and just make sure that I was doing correctly.
So are you foliar or are you going into your soil?
So I've been using foliar spray and I've also been watering into the soil itself, just like what I just explained to you.
Okay, so for watering into your soil, the only thing you want to use is drops balance and EM-1, unless you have a bug problem in your soil. Then you would also add the Organoshield.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I've definitely been doing it wrong.
Oh, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. You're not doing it. We're just being more effective. The Organoshield, it breaks down to water, CO2, and sugar. And where it could affect you poorly is roots use oxygen and CO2 to control the pH in the rhizosphere. And because Organoshield breaks down into water, CO2, and sugar over the course of 24 hours, there could be a possibility of the bacteria having something.
So it's like the competing bacteria that you were speaking about earlier?
Yeah, but this time it's more of a competing gas that and it's just a possibility. I mean, if you were ever going to put something in the root system, you want to put Organoshield over any other pesticide or fungicide because all the other ones are oil-based. So they're going to coat the roots. It's going to choke out the roots. The roots aren't going to be able to take up water because what happens with water and oil, right?
Oil sits on top of water, right?
Exactly. And so when the oil saturates the root system, do you think it's going to be easy for the roots to take up the water?
Nah, the oil is going to stop the water from penetrating into the roots.
Exactly. Until the oil is completely broken down or there's, it's going to slightly get choking off. So that's why if you got to put a pesticide in the soil, you're going to want it to be Organoshield. Although that's the reason why I would say don't put it in every time is because it breaks down to CO2 and that could be affecting pH of your soil, your rhizosphere. But then as a foliar, you want to be adding, and I'll go back to the concentrations for the soil in a second. Okay. For the foliar, you want to use DOB, EM-1, and Organoshield every foliar. And that's going to happen once a week, only once a week.
Oh, wow. I was actually, I was up there spraying those things at least like once a day, to be honest with you. And only because I remember you saying that with Organoshield, you could use Organoshield as much as you want on the plants and it wasn't going to hurt the plant.
Same with EM-1, it drops the balance. Although at the same time, what becomes counterproductive, right? The counterproductive part becomes your VPD. So there's always a range for everything. Like if you're in the tropics and you're growing tropical plants, you're going to want a foliar probably every day, right? Because you're growing plants that are meant to be grown in high humidity environments where the humidity is 80 plus degrees every day. Although these plants, the VPD, and what is this VPD? We're talking about vapor pressure, right? And we're talking about a gas, a gas. A water is not a vapor, but water will evaporate away into a vapor. And same as if like you put your hands in a pool too long, what happens to your hands?
Your hands start to get crinkly.
Get a little crinkly, right? Same thing with the leaves. When the VPD is off, calcium starts to flow. And what happens to those leaves? They get a little crinkly, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying what you're putting on a foliar spray, that's not like you're doing something bad, because all the things of how they work and how they break down is phenomenal. But that one component, water, is where it could be too much, right? And excess can happen. A VPD issue can start to happen, and calcium could possibly start flowing. So that's why it's a little better to control your VPD more through that humidifier and only foliar spray once a week, because when you create a proper humidity in the room, the proper amount of moisture will fall into those leaves on a daily basis, and then that micronutrients and that bacteria will have an ideal environment to flourish in the humidity that it's existing in.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. That is perfect.
Only recently has it really come to prominence in can growing as, more regulation. But very simply, VPD is a measurement. It's a tool to kind of measure the